Good morning. Today is March 15th, 2021. This is StockCast, your pre-market show. My name is James Mason. With me is Todd Derby. Currently, the Dow futures are up 117 points. S&P 500 futures are up 8 3/4 points right now. We're looking like today is going to be a decently bullish day in the market. So we will see what it gives us, and we'll take it as it comes. So, Todd, how are you doing this morning?
Doing great. Happy to be here Monday. I'm ready to roll.
Outstanding. So let's see. How's everyone doing in the comments? We already have some comments flowing in. Remember to give this video a like to help us out. Also, if you are not subscribed to our channel, we would appreciate it if you would. There are 64% of y'all who watch this every day per our analytics, and y'all are not subscribed. You know, if you like it, you better put a ring on it. So I'm sure y'all saw me go live without my little music intro there for a moment. Let's see. Let me go through here really quick. All right. So let's start off with Tesla. I'm just going to have to show y'all.
Oh, this is fun.
Y'all wouldn't believe me if I just said it. All right. So looking on the TT Blackbox, you can see right here, the titles of Elon Musk and Zach Kurthorn have changed to Techno King of Tesla and Master of Coin.
Yes, your screen, James.
Oh, man, hold on. Man, this whole time change. I'm already screwing up. There we go. It'd have been funnier if I was showing y'all. So, but yeah. So I just want to show y'all this right here. I heard this come over to Squawk Box this morning, and I was like, "Did I hear that right?" And I had to look it up, and sure enough, like what a just typical Elon Musk move. Changed his name to, well, let's see, Techno King of Tesla. But whatever. I just thought that was pretty cool. So,
James, are you gonna refer to yourself as the Techno King of Transparent Traders going forward?
No, I'm gonna actually refer to myself as the Suge Knight of that Weeble Rockets group, because I'm just in there beating all those trolls up.
That should be our goal this week, is to come up with our new titles for our positions. So we're open to all ideas from our membership.
Hey, I'm dead serious. Suge Knight. I am the Suge Knight of that Weeble Rocket group on Facebook. Suge Knight. Just in there bullying the trolls.
Oh, that's hilarious.
All right. So let's talk about, actually, let me hit these pre-market movers really quick. So number one slot, we have ticker CHEK, and number two, ACER, number three, AZRX, and then in fourth place, DNN. But let's talk about CHEK. So a little bit ago, let me pull my info up on it. A little bit ago, there was some news released about it. They released, check cap receives FDA IDE approval for pivotal study of C-scan. That's what made it do this little parabolic run. Shorted interest, last update, 3 million shares. Percent of the float being shorted, 37%. So pretty significant there. Share structure, outstanding shares, 46.2 million shares. So that's still actually considered a low float. I would still trade this, but I did miss this run. I won't lie to you on that. And the float overall, 8.1 million shares. So you can see as to why this thing just went so parabolic. There were 3 million shares that were being shorted per its last update. And who knows, those brokers could have, or those hedge funds, whoever was really holding on those shares short, they may have just, covered. Honestly, I would have, or they'd be getting smoked right now. I mean, this thing literally went from like 160, and here we are up 100%. So you could, if you were sitting in this thing already, man, you could not ask for a better Monday starting off today. So hopefully APOP is next. I'm tired of waiting on that one, but I'm kind of expecting something like this as well for APOP, but that's just my opinion. So overall, like this at this point, I wouldn't jump in right now. I done missed the run. This is extremely overextended. As you can see, the MACD right here in the 5-minute chart, that big old wave, and now those candlesticks are just so thin, but that price is still going up. So that's signifying that there's a pullback coming right here. You can also see it on the RSI as well. So let's look at the daily chart. As you can see, this little dashed line right here, we are way up here, but we'll have to see what it does today. We'll have to see if that pullback starts to take place and if it actually becomes a fader. That's the worst thing about trying to chase these pre-market runners. If you're not in it early, you could get burned trying to jump in it later. I've done it before. I'm trying to think of that one, Todd. I remember a few months back, it started with EV something, EVOI maybe. It was something like that. Let me just see if I can pull it up real quick. No, not EVOI. All right. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But the same thing happened with that one. It ran up. I waited for it to break a resistance, got in it, and it just faded after that. And I was heavy in that one. So I paid the price for that one. And that is why, if you don't really get into these things early, the longer you wait, the more riskier it gets, especially right now on that 5-minute chart. And it's already showing that it's going to pull back. So overall, if this thing doesn't become a fader, with it being a low float, I would say my overall target price would be around 761. Again, we're still early. We need to see what it's going to do intraday today and how much it actually pulls back. So that's what I see there. If this thing pulls back, I'd say anywhere between 225 to that 250 range, maybe consolidating there for a bounce. And if it would hold up, me personally, I'm going to just wait for it to break that new high again. But again, we'll just have to see what it does. So, Todd, the stimulus checks, man, they have come in.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm hearing from friends and family that it's hitting their accounts. And then the other part of it is that just physically I had to drive across through Detroit suburbs Saturday and Sunday, and traffic was busy. I mean, a lot more than normal. And people are in the retail stores. The parking lots were full. So it looks like the stimulus checks are stimulating the economy.
Yeah. I was driving through the actual city of Nashville yesterday, and also went by Opryland. And man, you talking about just packed out. It looked like Black Friday. All the parking spaces were just slammed. People going in and out. It seriously looked like the holidays. I mean, you wouldn't even think that COVID-19 was still a thing anymore, or that it even existed at any point in history. I mean, it just looks like we are booming. People are out there spending money. And with that, I do expect the market to give us at least a few more green days, unless something happens sooner. But a few more green days before it kind of just, the hype kind of just settles in and the market adjusts to this. Now, since we have been waiting all this time for this stimulus check, and as you guys know, all these months that they've been saying, okay, we're voting on it, and then the market would just shoot up, and then, of course, it wouldn't pass, and then the market would pull back down. And now they have officially voted on it. It passed. People have their checks and money in their hands, and are spending it. what hype is there to go off of now? I mean, that's, what is the government going to be optimistic about going into the future? That is really the big question here. Todd, do you have any ideas?
I don't.
I don't either.
Yeah, it's right now. I think this week is going to be strong because people are going to have money in their hands. But where we're headed after this, I'm not sure. How much more money can they pump into the marketplace?
Exactly. I mean, to me, when you just keep throwing all this cash into these bailouts and with the stimulus and whatnot, at what point do you just run out of firepower? It's mind blowing, really. I mean, I just can't even think of anything at the moment. Like, what could they actually hype up to keep the market bullish, keep it pushing up? If anything, we're going to start after this next series of earnings. In my opinion, I think this next series of earnings will be pretty good, especially with this stimulus money now in the economy. I say not this coming earnings season, but the following one. After all the hype is worn off, things start to kind of settle here. I believe that's when things are going to start getting really crappy. I believe that's when, and again, this is just all speculation. It's just my opinion right now, based off of, certain things that should start transpiring then. But I believe that's when we're going to start seeing, people defaulting on their mortgages, loans, vehicle loans, and that's when things will start to curl over and fall off the cliff, in my opinion. But again, we're talking months away. Anything can happen. Anything could happen this week. You just don't know. So that's just my speculation on it. So let's hit the comment section and see what we got going on here. Let's see. Let's look at ticker SNDL. We pull up some fundamentals on it. So the thing that I do not like about this ticker, let's pull it up on a daily chart. We see this significant run back here on up to right at almost $4, $3.96, and then it's pulled back here to the mid $1 range at this point. For me personally, with this chart setup, this candlestick setup right here, this is not what I would want to be in. When you're in a situation like this, you might get another pop in it, but it won't be as significant as that one. So me personally, if I'm in a situation like this, I look for an exit strategy. That's what I want to see. And the reason why is this thing has 1.6 billion outstanding shares. And the float is the same. 1.6 billion shares outstanding. Guys.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. This is not an investment. This thing is just a bloated pig. This is one of those things that if you were back here, even in this initial run, if you got in and then sold somewhere right in here, good on you. Great trade. But if you were in back here and you didn't sell right here and you're still in now, man, you screwed up. Because all those people who were in it back here, they took their profits. 1.6 billion shares. There's a slim chance this thing is really going to make much of a run after this. It's just too many shares that need to be bought up and held by other traders to really make it do anything. It's really just not the share structure that you want to be in to really trade.
The other problem is that when traders were taking profits at the high there between $3.50 and $4, that means someone was buying between $3.50 and $4, and the bag holders, and they're going to be sitting on that for a while. So it's going to take a lot to get that back over $4.
Yeah, like they would have to have significant news on this thing, and I just don't see it happening. That's just too many shares outstanding. Now, had this thing been 200 million shares, that's still a decent amount of shares outstanding. But I would feel optimistic about it at that point. But 1.6 billion, it's just too hard to work with. So another ticker that a member was wanting to look at, BUOT. So this one is a low float. Let's see. This one has 3.5 million shares outstanding. The float is 2.9 million. Short interest, next to nothing. So no worries there. So they have a few filings in the past, but nothing significant yet in the news. Overall, though, I am bullish on this one overall. This thing is holding up, at least right now, above that 9 EMA. I want to see that continue right there. And once we break above this high right here, we should, in theory, start seeing this thing really push up, especially with that low float of 3.5 million shares. So this thing should start pushing up. We should start getting some movement in this thing, and which will also bring in volume as well. And see, I would like to think that we see some nice profits there, but that is just my opinion. So let's see. Of course, getting some comments about APOP. Disclaimer, I am in this one. And we do have pre-market movement on this. We are currently up to $4.10. So it is moving up pretty nice. Any day now, we are waiting for that top line data to be released by them. And man, I am tired of waiting, not going to lie. So, but I've beat this one down so much on here talking about it. I'm kind of tired of talking about it. I'm just ready to get that news and move on from this bad boy.
Yeah, we need to see volume and see news, and I think we're going to have a lot of our members very, very happy.
Oh, yeah. So let's see. Ticker DARE. Let me look up the check structure for this. Short interest. Last update was 1.2 million shares short, 3% of the float. I'm sorry. Shares outstanding, 41.6 million shares outstanding. The float, 39.9 million shares. So still a low float here. This thing has actually been in the news recently, and I'll let you guys look up the news later. It'd take forever to talk about that, but we can see how it did pull back some. Did have a nice pop here on the 12th, and currently pre-market, we are right here at $2.40. What we need to see, we do need to see it start pushing back up here, and really this first range that it needs to break above is, let me zoom in a little bit more. Obviously this high right here, but what I like to do, since these two highs right here are close, this candlestick, that wick, and then this little peak right here, I'm just going to go off this higher part right here. So we do need to see this thing break above. Now you should round it up. So 270 is where I like to see it break above before I'd start getting bullish on this thing. And we see what it does there. Overall, if I was going to trade this thing, depending on the catalyst that would come out and when it would come out, whatever that may be, my target price would be about $6 overall. Could be more. And again, this is just me looking at the charts really quick. It could go way more. Any of these target prices could go way more than what I feel, or they may not reach that point, or I could just be completely wrong. So keep that in mind. All right, let's see what else we got.
Let's talk about Azrx. That was someone mentioned, and that's a ticker that I was in this morning myself.
Azrx. Whoa. So, guys, as you can see, this one was a fader right here. Probably see it do a little bounce and then fade again. But this thing, let me pull up the news on it. All right. Short interest, last update, 645,000. So pretty much nothing. Shares outstanding, 65.2 million. The float's 60 million. So still kind of small, but it's teetering. The news on it, I'm not seeing any news today, but they had some recent news about conferences and whatnot. I'm sure if you really dug through it, you'd find more catalysts in there. But we can see, nonetheless, this thing had a nice pre-market run, and then it created resistance. I'm sure if we pulled it up on the daily chart here, we can see where it actually hit. Let me see what that pre-market high was.
230.
Okay, 230. So right in here, it definitely did hit that resistance area, and it has pulled back pretty significant. At this point, this is something that I would not chase. You can see that it's a fader, and faders don't come back. They might have a little spike, but what the shorts are doing with these faders is, I'm not saying you can't pull off a day trade here. I pull off day trades all the time doing this stuff, but it is kind of playing with fire. You have a lot of bears in this thing. They watched this significant move up. There was really no catalyst at all, and that's why they beat this thing down. So what they'll do is they'll cover somewhere right in here, wherever it may be. The bulls will start to move back in. This thing will dance around, do whatever it's going to do. Might make a little bullish run up. Heck, it might even test these highs again. And all those bears, they're waiting for that thing, and they will hammer it again. So that's what you have to watch out for, guys.
So last week, this was one of the ones that I shared or alerted in our chat box. I was in at 136, and they were making a presentation this week. And so something, I can't find the presentation, but there was a news upcoming. Something happened. It ran this pre-market, and I ended up closing my position at $1.75 this morning from a 136 average.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So let's look at the comments again. See what we got. Johnny Trollmaster is no longer with us. He just got the ban. Like, there was.
Thanks for playing, Trollmaster.
Exactly, yeah. There was no discretion there coming in trying to troll when your name is Trollmaster. He needs to work on that. So, gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. Wait until we start taking live calls on air. You know we're going to get those trolls. Whatever. I'll roll with it. But guess what? I'll have your number. So let's look at SIRC. Oh, God, that looks ugly. Oh, man. Bro, I'm not even going to say your name on here because people will hear it later. But you're my boy. You're my boy. But we'll act like this didn't happen. We'll act like you didn't call this one out. And OTC. Oh, man. Oh, God. If you want, we can edit this part out later. But I'll look at this. One, it's OTC. So
Beware.
crap. Let's just look at a daily chart. So this thing had a nice run way back here. Obviously, you can see it on the chart. But this thing is setting up, and this is a pump and dump setup here. So if you're just getting in right here, you might be all right, at least at this point. What usually happens when something has a run up like this and a pump and dump and then pulls back like this, you usually have that second little push. And after that second push, that's when it dies for real. So if you actually have a good average, man, keep that stop tight and look to take profits somewhere. OTC stocks, especially pump and dumps, it's so hard to give a target price. It's literally just manipulated by people on Twitter and these other groups. And I don't feel like getting into it, but there's this whole little underground world of people, and it's just all set up. Like these OTC CEOs will actually pay people by shares to do all this and make this happen. Trust me, Johnny and I, we have dug into these people. We have embedded in these groups for years. But yeah, OTC stock, this thing is not looking good overall unless if you have a nice average already. But look to take profits at some point. Let's look at one more ticker, NNDM. You can see I've obviously traded this one in the past with these resistance lines. Let's see what their fundamentals are. This company, they're horrible with doing offerings, but it still goes up. So it is what it is, I guess. All right. So the last update for the short interest, 10.4 million shares short, 4.1% of the float being shorted on the last update. Share structure, 248.8 million shares, and it's literally the same for the float. So that is a decent amount of shares out there. But again, this company is notorious for doing offerings, and it's just really, for me, it's just not something that I like, especially like literally like if you look into their news, and it's like every month and a half they're dropping an offering. That's just what sucks about this. But obviously we can see this nice run up here on this daily chart. And again, it's looking like that OTC stock. I mean, nice push up, but not as drastic as that OTC one. And then a sharp decline. And then this is probably the second little wave here or setting up for it. No telling where it will go up to unless they have like a significant catalyst or their earnings drop something significant whenever their earnings were. I guess their earnings may have already passed. But yeah, so be careful. Like this setup, in my opinion, I think is just ugly. And this is really a stock that actually gets shorted a lot. So just keep that in mind, y'all. So, oh yeah, people have been asking me about, I'll do one more, I'm sorry. People have been asking me about SNES. Disclaimer, I am also in this ticker right here.
I am also.
Pull up the information on it. All right, last update, short interest, 433,000 shares, so nothing at all, really. Share structure, 8 million shares outstanding. The float, 7.6 million shares. And you can see this thing. So a low float. Overall, the product on it for this company is, not going to lie, it's kind of stupid. The product is basically like rat birth control. But nonetheless, with these low floats like this, man, hey, a lot of dumb crap shoots up and turns into two-digit numbers. I'm just saying, that's just the way it is. So we can see this thing has been beat down for a while. This is why I decided to enter this thing with this low float. And the way the market works is when something is beat down for so long, especially with it being a low float, there's two things that are going to happen. One, market makers want to make easy money here. They'll enter these trades, which will start creating volume, which that volume will create people noticing it, and then they'll stack on top of those market makers' orders, creating profit for them already. And then when the float is pretty much bought up, this thing starts shooting up pretty crazy. And when the market makers pull the rug, I mean, they walk away from a home run, honestly. And the other thing that happens is these companies, when they're beat down like this for so long, they start needing to generate cash. So coincidentally, when these companies are like this with this setup and they need to generate cash, and I'll show you a great example here with ticker JAN. You can see how this had worked out. But back here, this thing was a very low float before the new year. And you see that first push up, and the same situation on this ticker. They were down here around this $4 or $5 range, and they were posting filings that, hey, we have this much money that we want to raise. And I think they was going to take something. I remember the number being like $75 million. Basically, the numbers had to be like within certain ranges and things like that. But they had already announced like months in advance what their plan was. And the reason why I didn't jump in this one was because I was in a couple other trades. And when it actually popped off, I missed my entry and then just had to watch this thing run. So same thing here. They were beat down for so long. Let me just zoom out. And they needed to create money. So coincidentally, when this stuff happens or sets up like this, these things will just mysteriously start pushing up hardcore. And they have these radical runs. And then that's when they do their offerings, when really the PPS value shoots sky high. And you can see what happened here. This thing went up to almost $32 and then just got hammered. So let's look back at SNES. That's what I'm kind of anticipating happen here. Now, I'm not expecting it to go up to, $31, $32, but if this thing pops off with it being a low float, and then that FOMO jumping on it from people trying to chase that volume, I have two different target prices. I have a realistic one at $6, which again, it may not even hit $6. It could hit just $2. It could hit just $3. Who knows? You just never know, guys. And pretty much like my home run YOLO target price is $20. So that's what I'm looking here for SNES, and that's my reason on this. Again, the product is stupid. I won't deny that, but hey, I'm not an investor. I'm just trading, and that's what happens. I mean, if you look at JAN, the ticker I just showed you, same thing. I mean, they're just like waste management. A lot of these tickers, especially the Chinese stocks, they do the scrap. Their product sucks. And that's just how the market works. A lot of times it doesn't matter what the company really does. It just matters about that share structure. And with the share structure, the market makers, they're just there to make money. They're not there to support these companies. They're not there to support you as an investor. They are there to make money. That is their job as the market maker, is to create that market and to take your money. So them starting to push up a low float, man, tens of millions of dollars of retail traders' money stack on top of theirs, and then they take it all. That's how it works. So that's why you have to be on top of this stuff.
So just a quick take a look at the chart again. You go back and look at the MACD. The MACD is starting to roll over, so I think that's a positive note, just part of this conversation. So really, again, this is one of those plays for me that I don't really care about the overall price. And the reason why is because I'm not 100% in this with my account. If this thing would drop down, I mean, even if it dropped down to 50 cents, I'll just scale in more and just accumulate shares. And then on the next run,
just cash out for profit. But if for whatever reason they decided to do like a reverse split, it would suck, but nonetheless, I'm already in it before a reverse split would happen. So really the share structure would change, but the value wouldn't change for my shares. And after the split occurred, I would just sell off. That's just what I would do. Just sell off, move on, find another one. But until then, that's not what we're experiencing. I would like to see this thing stay above that 9 EMA on the daily chart and see what we can get out of this thing. So that is all I have today. Todd, do you have anything?
No, just somebody asked in the chat, is the chat room the Discord? Peter, no, we have a chat room as part of our Transparent Traders Blackbox. We have a Discord also, but when we refer to the chat room, it's that website.
All right, guys. So, hey, we greatly appreciate y'all tuning in today. Again, man, that hour time change. If you were here in the very beginning of the live stream, you saw I actually went live before I did my little countdown, and I was just staring at my monitor. So I'll probably have to edit that later. But other than that, y'all take care, trade safe, and go APOP.